Yo, what's up? Okay, so you made it inside of this training, excuse me. You made it inside here. Okay, so you made it this far. We've covered the finish line, what we're going to have your finish line look like. And we even went over an example with me. I went through the health, the wealth, and the relationships of my own examples. But the health for me was, I believe it was 10% body fat, and then the wealth was 1K a day or 7K a month, and then my whole relationships was like, I'm not focused on that, but I'm doing this whole self-love thing. I'm sharing my gift, my purpose, my being with the world and all these other specific people. Like I was squeezing a pair of boobies right there. That's kind of funny. That's what I'm doing. Okay, and then we went through the exact breakdown, how you can do that for yourself. What do you want? I told you to pause the video right now, and write this shit down, split up these categories, write this shit down, and we basically covered everything that's inside of the peak performance and self-mastery playbook. But I get this question a lot. They're like, everybody usually asks me this same question, and it goes like this, dude. Like, Gil, I love everything that you talk about. I get everything that you mean. Dude, I'm so amped. I'm so ready, but I don't know where to start. Okay. Makes sense. Totally does make sense. And I'm going to try to correlate this to you with a story. Steve Jobs story before he passed in 2011. So how it went was, excuse me if I butcher it. I'm probably not going to butcher it, but excuse me if it went. So Steve Jobs was in his not his deathbed, but he was in his cancer. This is a little bit post after he found out that he had cancer, but he was he got super skinny, got to a really bad point. He went to the hospital, okay? It's Palo Alto, California. And basically he was, I'm just gonna say deathbed because I don't remember the name, but he was in his bed. Let's not say deathbed, that's kind of a bad connotation. Anyways, he's in his bed, he's in his hospital bed, whatever. And then the cool thing was he had all these other guys come in. He had the co-founder Google come in. He had Howard Schultz come in, which is the creator fucking, what would we call it? Starbucks? I gotta remember these names. Starbucks, and then he had Mark Zuckerberg. He had all these guys coming in. But they came in there to ask him one specific question. They asked him, hey Steve, I hope, besides hoping he gets better, they actually did have a reason for them to be there to get mentorship. They're always seeking mentorship because they specifically had the same situation that you did. Is about, where do I start? How do I get going? What do I do? How do I get this really fucking ball rolling, this momentum shifting? Anyways, what they asked him, one of the main persons that asked him was, I think his name was Larry Schmidt. Schmidt, some shit like that. He's the co-founder of Google or whatever. But he asked him, he's like, Steve, what are some things that I can do or that I can implement in my business right now so that way I can't I can compete with Microsoft? Because Microsoft back then, it was they're right now, they're some of the biggest fucking leading competitors in the computer industry and software and all that other shit. I don't know. But Larry Schmidt ended up asking Steve Jobs that. And Steve Jobs, he was kind of being on the bed, kind of dying, surgery, whatever, but at the same time, he was really humble at the time because he realized that, the real purpose of the world was not just the making money and, holding all your best secrets to yourself and, beating the competition. It was about actually helping people, giving back to other groups and helping them improve and implement the core values that we have to them. So here's how he answered it. I think his name's Larry. Yeah, Larry. I remember that name. He's like, okay, Larry, here's what you need to do. You need to figure out the top 5 biggest things that Google wants to be when it grows up. And you need to trim out, you need to cut out all of the fucking rest. You need to trim out all of the fucking fat that's surging on the side that's distracting you guys. You gotta figure out what all of that stuff is. You gotta figure out what Google wants to be, and then you gotta trim all of the fat. And then he also talked about, besides trimming all of that, you gotta think of all of the potential blocking of all the time vampires, the crabs, and all of the people, all the things that are gonna hold you back. Because if you do not do this, then he says you don't have to do this, but guess what's going to happen? Here's what's going to happen. He told Larry. He said if you don't choose a time to start, which should be now, and if you don't focus out all of these 5 things and just choose one of them out of those 5 things, like choose whatever one of them it is, it doesn't matter. If you don't choose one, you're gonna get loaded. You're gonna have your whole team focused and loaded with B fucking players, and then you're gonna start turning out products that are just like Microsoft instead of Google. They're gonna be good, but they're not gonna be great. Okay. So if you could do anything, choose your top 5, and then out of those 5, just select one right now out of those top 5s. Select one out of those top 5, and then focus on that. Focus it all the way to completion. Block out all of these fucking lame vampires, these time vampires. Block out all of the B players and only work with and confound yourself or surround yourself in your environment with the A players, so that way you can get it done, and so that way your business is not turning out products. Google, by the way, so Google is not turning out products that are just like fucking Microsoft, because Microsoft's only good, but they're not great. And guess what happened? Larry Schmidt was like, what the fuck? Because this conversation was about focus. He was asking him about focus and how he can really hone it in, how he can really zone it in and like hold this icon and like hold this absoluteness. And lo and behold, it's 2017 now when I'm shooting this video. He asked this question back in like 2000, I think it was late 2010. Google's a giant now. Google was already growing, but like now it's a massive giant. Now they have Android kicking ass. Now they have everything competing with Apple. And all because of that one little speech with Steve Jobs, okay? Now, how does this relate to you? How are you going to use this in your own life? And how are we going to use this for your starting point? And what does this have to do with focus, okay? So, if I'm correct, we just went through this whole thing with the finish line, what we're going to have that finish line look like. We specifically broke down those top 3 fucking categories, right? Or the top 3 things that you need to do to make your number 1 priority happen in the health, wealth, and relationships aspect of your life. Didn't we? Okay, doesn't that sound like the story we just talked about, except minus the 5? You have 3 now, 3 of the top priorities that you can choose. Now, where you're going to start. This is totally up to you, but I totally think it's best that you start in your health category, because this is one of the best places that you can start. Home. When you close your eyes and it's dark and you're breathing, not when you're sleeping, but when you're breathing, this is home. This is your temple. This is where you start. So if you have to start with the physical, because remember it's mind, body, and then you go to your spirit, and then we just grow from that part. Okay? So start with home. That's what I'm going to tell you. And then after you get whatever small objectives, whatever long-term vision objective made, because we have macro objective and then micro objective. Macro objective being the long thing, the long game, the whole battle, your 90-day fucking goal. Once you've gotten that first one knocked out, and then boom, good. Put it to the side. That's 1 out of 3. Let's go like that. That's 1 out of 3. I was gonna like flip you off, but that would look funny. So it's 1 out of 3. So now you only have 2. I keep doing that. 3. So now you have 2 more. And if you can't do wealth yet, if you can't find yourself like the strength yet to get to wealth, dude, don't worry about wealth. Go to relationships, and then hone that out. Bang it out. Okay. So now it's really just honing in that focus, like zoning in. And here's a good practice. Here's a good practice exercise that you can do right now. I actually did this with a client. A good way to short-term start, like a very micro, objectively way to practice your focus is when you have a mirror in front of you. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna sit down in the mirror, you're gonna lay back, not lay back, but you're gonna like sit back, and then have it like generally close enough to be in front of you so you can look at yourself. It's kind of like narcissistic to look at yourself, but nonetheless, look at yourself, but look yourself dead in the eye. Have a back straight, have good posture, like high status, everything like that. Good dress, you dress good, make an impeccable impression on yourself and everything like that, but focus your eye contact directly on yourself, okay? Just focus it on there. Don't blink. Do not blink. I blink there. But if you're gonna blink, control the blink. Slowly blink, and then open your eyes. Slow down your words. Control the pacing. You know, now what's going to happen is when you're in this zone, when you're in this state, when you're in this presence, because that's what it really is, when you're in this presence, silence, you're going to feel the little, I like to call them thought bubbles. Little thought bubbles are just like floating around there. They're going to give you resistance. They're going to give you this little resistance. They're going to make you try to twitch. They're going to make you look away. No, just hold it there. Breathe into it, man. Breathe into it. Slow everything down. And do this. Do this for like 30 minutes. Do it for 15 minutes. Do it for 10 minutes a day. I don't give a shit how long you do it. But do that. Do it consistent enough for 90 days. And your focus will shift, because you need to. Because what you're going to do is you're absolutely going to shift that from whatever it is you're working on. Maybe you're writing down a new product, like I usually have. Writing it down, then I transfer it to my phone, then I transfer it to my computer. So it's like digital copies and like physical copy. I don't lose shit. Accountability. I usually do that. Now, anyways, when I do that though, I'm zoned in. I'm not blinking that much. I have things in my ear. I have my music, obviously, is like in my ear, and I'm listening. People are talking to me. I could be in Starbucks. I have that in there, but when I'm there, I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. I'm just funnel vision, and that's basically what we are creating for ourselves right now. We are creating that funnel vision. Okay. So this is the vision, the long-term vision. That's what we're talking about, the macro objective. And then the micro objectives is more about this emotional FSMCD battle that we're talking about. Starting point is you just doing it now. That's what this video is about. It's just fucking doing it. And when you get started, it's honing that focus. Because that's what, I can guarantee you that is the biggest fucking issue that everybody runs into. It's just the focus. And it's like, even if you have to, if you must, you need to yell, you need to do whatever you do. You gotta start dancing, you gotta start jumping, you have to start fucking, or maybe even crying if you must. But you gotta push past this physical and even mental, because that's mental fucking inertia. And then you gotta get yourself to do it, because once you start doing it, and that ball starts rolling, and you start speaking, and this flow starts happening, this momentum happens, and it's just like, bam. It's all frivolous from there. Okay, so just fucking do it. And whatever it is you find yourself doing, hone in on that focus. You use this in conversation too. Don't get all creepy about it. Like if people look away, just mimic them. But like if you're having a conversation and they're looking away, they're talking to you and you're paying attention to them, just being present. They look away, you look away. When they look back again, you look back again. It's just being focused. This is how you hone your focus in multiple different aspects of your life, okay? So that's really about what starting point is going to be. Because starting point is just you doing it. Anything else is you mentally blocking yourself, cock blocking yourself. That's what cock blocking yourself. So don't cock block yourself. Stop cock blocking yourself, brother. You don't need to do that. You got this. We got this. If you have any more questions, feel free to email me at grockz, GROCKZ .elite, ELITEMOTVATION, elitemotivation@gmail.com. And dude, maybe we can even set up a whole coaching call. We'll figure out what we can do for that point. All right? That's it for starting point. I'll see you in the next videos. Keep rocking and rolling, brother. Cheers.